Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday and welcome to this educational presentation. Now today I want to talk to you about a great course that we're going to be offering for the first time, and it's called the 2021 Stock Trading Survival Course. And the reason why we've titled it this is because most of the students that come to us or people that have spoken to us in the past that want to be students of ours at Pro Trader Strategies and Specialist Trading seem to have the same problems over and over again. It doesn't matter whether the market's up or whether the market is down. They have very difficult time in trying to trade them. Either the strategy doesn't feel comfortable or they don't feel they are in sync with whatever market they're trading. So they're having a difficult time surviving, and many of them don't survive at all. For example, as we look here at this chart of 2020, in the beginning of the year, we actually were going kind of sideways to upwards a little bit, okay? This is where traders still have a little difficulty because just when they're convinced that the market's going to go higher, we have 2 weeks where we go much lower on this weekly chart of the Dow, and all of a sudden we're flirting with lows again. So at that point, they probably say, okay, I guess I should sell here and the market's going to go down, so I'll get out. And then 2 weeks later, it's right back up flirting with making brand new highs. So then they say, okay, I guess I got out too early. I'm going to go back in and buy whatever I was interested in, and after all, the market's going to go higher. Well, see, this is called a range market. You have this type of range here, and a lot of traders have difficulty, most traders I would say, because this happens over and over again. But let's say you thought that in this range we were going much higher, because the market has been going higher the last year, and then this happens, okay? You get this big move to the downside. We know this was with the coronavirus, and caught everyone off guard. Now, most people, I would venture to say the majority of all traders or investors lost money during this period. And just when you were convinced that the market was in a strong downward move, in fact, you were convinced possibly that we were going into some type of depression or economic major recession, all of a sudden, this happens. You get a little bounce there. In the business on the floor, when I used to work on the trading floor, we used to call this a dead cat bounce because a lot of traders would think, well, there's really no more momentum going on here. And let's say you took that $5,000 course on Fibonacci support and resistance levels. Well, you'd say, well, this is just a 50% retracement. So that means you basically just bounced half the distance of the recent sell-off. And usually what happens after that, if it's a weak bounce, you'll get continued movement to the downside. So let's say you thought we're going lower. You didn't want to buy into this. You didn't think the momentum was strong enough. So you either stayed on the sidelines, or else if you were more advanced, you said, I'm going to short this, and then this happened, right? So you see, you don't need a down market to have a difficult year. What happens is you have these obstacles that occur over and over again, either in the indices or they actually occur in individual stocks in any market in any time frame. And this is what gives you a difficult time because you don't have the tools, not necessarily the knowledge, but you don't have the tools and the equipment and the strategies and methods to actually take your trading to the next level. That's why you're suffering so needlessly. Well, here's the good news. We have the tools and the strategies and the methods available on the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform that we strongly believe will teach you how to survive in 2021. You'll see that in attention to detail we give in our courses, especially in the survival course that we're going to be teaching very soon. So welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo, president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading for roughly 43 years now, 44 in just a few months. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years. 9 of those years, I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. I know a lot of people aren't familiar with what a specialist is. There aren't a lot of them around anymore since the markets have all gone electronically. But in the old days, if you wanted to buy or sell a stock, you would call up your stockbroker, who in turn would contact the floor broker that represented your firm. And then that floor broker would walk up to the trader who specialized in making a market in that stock. So that's what I did. I made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. IBM, US Air, Waste Management. I made markets in those stocks during the crash of 1987 and the bull market that followed. So I've traded straight up markets, straight down markets. I've traded just about every system, every method, every strategy you can think of. It's just been renamed or rebranded. So in 43 years, I've accumulated enough information, experience, and skill to know what works in terms of consistency and what doesn't. So that's why Pro Trader Strategies and I got together and formulated this new course. Because with all the knowledge and things that I've learned and all the things that I continue to use in my own personal trading, We know what works with consistency, and these things can help you survive any year, not just 2021, but any year coming in the future. So we want to help traders who have had a difficult year last year in 2020, and we want to get you on board so that you can start to become consistent for the very first time. That's the reason why we put this together, to help you as a trader. And you'll see that today, and I'll go over the curriculum and show you just what's going to be offered in our new course that's going to be starting in the very near future. But before we begin, as always, we first have to share with you our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results and what's going to be offered in our new course, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. Also, please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. So as you're taking a brief moment to view the disclaimer, I see a lot of new attendees today. So if you haven't done so already, I invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there, abbreviation for Specialist Trading. Since we are an educational company, first and foremost, I post a lot of different free education on a daily basis. Sometimes I post signals our strategies have generated. Sometimes I post little bits of financial wisdom. Either way, there's lots of great free educational information posted on a daily basis. So please feel free to follow us on Twitter. So remember, as I stated in the opening statements, we are an educational company. I welcomed you to this educational presentation. And so our goal as educators is to teach you all the things that have really shown to work in whatever market, whatever time frame, whatever direction, so that ultimately you can make your own trading decisions. In my 43 years of trading, that's the only way one can become consistent. Not by relying on someone else, or not by relying on some course that costs you $10,000 or $15,000 to take and is supposed to spit out the buy and sell signals, or not by relying on the earnings, or not even by relying on some kind of webinar. You have to do it yourself. That's the only way you'll get to the top of the mountain. You have to make sure that you have enough knowledge and enough wherewithal to pull the trigger based on what you feel is the correct reason. Now, I know a lot of students always say, well, Steve, I don't have that knowledge. I don't have that experience. Well, that's the gap we fill. That's the service we provide at Pro Trader Strategies and Specialist Trading. We teamed up together with one goal in mind, and that was just to educate you as traders. So as you see, my goal is not like other websites to simply have you come to a chat room or a trading room and I tell you what to buy or sell and I show you what I'm buying or selling. And my goal is not to tell you what the perfect time frame is, or my goal is not to tell you what I think the market's going to do. You see, that's not what a mentor does. A good mentor does not trade for you. He teaches you how to trade with a specialist edge. So that's my goal, to teach you the same edge that was taught to me, that's been able to sustain me, and hopefully it will be able to sustain you as well. And you'll see that in the class we're going to be giving you, or the course I should say, in the upcoming weeks, because this is really going to be giving you the best of the best. So if you've been having trouble, it's really going to be able to take your trading to the next level. Now, before we begin today's presentation, I have a lot of slides to share with you, but as always, we are going to be answering your questions. But if you can wait till the end of class, I really appreciate it. If we stop at every slide, we'll take far too long in today's short time, so I don't want to take all of your Wednesday morning. So please, if you have a question about the course or about some of the things that are going to be offered in it, just wait till the end and I'll cover them all at the end, okay? The only question I will answer is the most popular, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. We record all of our webinars, so if you're having technical issues, a lot of times students say they can't hear or they can't see the screen. Often, if you just log off and then log back on, the picture will get back and the issues will be resolved. But if you're still having technical difficulty, don't worry. We will send each and every one of you a link to this recording, okay? So you will all get a link to this recording, and please wait till the end to ask questions. Okay, let's begin today's educational class. Now, let's start out by asking who this course is for, okay? Now, trust me, everyone can take this course. It does not mean that you've had the worst of all years, but everyone has a difficult time. For example, this course is for traders who had a difficult time trading in 2020. Remember, you don't need to have a straight down market to have a difficult time trading. Trust me, there are tons of traders who have lost this past year when the market went straight up. Okay, and it doesn't mean that they were actually betting against the market. It doesn't mean that they were selling when everything was going up. It just means that they didn't have enough consistent information. They were probably using worn out techniques or methods that are, traditionally supposed to work, but really showed no levels of consistency. Now, because you had a difficult time, perhaps you searched for that trading opportunities, but weren't able to find them, okay? So many times traders feel left out because they'll see other traders or see stocks just taking off. They go, gosh, how come my method or how come my analysis didn't spot that? That took off and I missed it entirely. Or, I'm searching for these big moves or these great winners and I'm missing everything. I'm not able to find them with what I'm using. Now, because of this, most likely, you probably overtraded, right? You traded like crazy trying to make that money somewhere else and you're searching for that home run trade, right? And here's what happens when you search for that home run trade. You usually and ultimately end up with a series of losses, right? I'm sure you've all been there. I've been there. This is the way it usually happens when you're searching for that. You just want to make that money somewhere else because everyone else seems to be making the easy money with some stock that got bought out or something that just went straight up. And you don't have any indication of these things happening. So you go searching somewhere else that you'll be able to find it. And most likely you end up into a real extreme drawdown, losing a lot of money. After that occurs, you've completely lost confidence in trading, right? You just say, what's the point of all this stuff? It's ridiculous. I'm just keep losing money. It's extremely discouraging. It's very frustrating. And you've spent so much money and hard-earned time trying to find that holy grail and you just can't find it. You've been really disappointed in your results. So at this point, you really see no reason for 2021 to be any better, right? At this point in 2021, you're going to probably say, if I don't make it this year, I'm out. Or you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to have to find another way to get some money because I'm running out of cash very quickly to be able to trade. I know this sounds very discouraging, and I don't want to bring you down and start off the presentation by getting you depressed. I'm only saying this because this can happen regardless if it's 2020. It can happen in any year, okay? This is the same way when I first started trading. I was, really going through a difficult time trying to figure out how to make it work. I went through the same thing some 43 years ago. So this is something that occurs over and over again. But before you get too despondent, before I bring you down way too much in this presentation, trust me, there is a way to turn things around. Don't lose hope. Don't think that, well, I can't do it now. There's no way. I mean, this is just, no one can ever make money trading the markets. There actually is a way to turn things around. It's not exactly the way you've been promised or the way it's supposed to happen in your eyes, but there actually is a way to turn things around. And that's why we put together this new course, the 2021 Stock Trading Survival Course. It's for all the traders who've had a very difficult time, either in 2020 or for the preceding years as well. It's just for those traders who have been struggling tremendously. What we're going to be doing is give you the best of the best. It's a 3-week live trading course with myself, with yours truly, teaching you these things in a live class. And each week, here's what I'll cover. Each week, I'll teach you how to apply a proprietary tool or a strategy or an indicator that I personally feel will give you the best chance for surviving the markets. These are the best of the best. Now, these powerful edges will enable you to meet any trading challenge that may arise in 2021. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, gosh, Steve, I know you're teaching me this stuff, but how am I going to be able to check my work? How am I going to be able to contact you? I mean, I know you can't do this. You have students around the world, but I would love if I could have a personal mentor so I could check my work. I could find out if this were working. I don't have to calculate everything by hand. Well, that's the reason why Pro Trader Strategies and I developed the PTS Primo charting platform. Because it's like having your own personal mentor. Everything I'm going to be teaching you is on our platform and it's one click away. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 biggest challenges that I see will be coming in 2021. And you know what? These are basically the 3 biggest challenges that you see in any year. They're roadblocks to your success. They're things that happen over and over again. And it doesn't matter what market, it doesn't matter what time frame, it doesn't matter what direction. You're going to see these roadblocks in any market, time frame, or direction. So that's why I say these are the 3 biggest challenges you'll probably see once again in 2021. So since we don't have a crystal ball to see into the future, let's just see how these 3 challenges happened just this past year. The first one is obstacle number 1, and that is range or whipsaw markets, okay? This is what we call in the market a slow death, because it's not enough for you to get out and say, listen, I should not even get involved with these. You still have enough hope thinking that you're going to make money in these certain situations. But ultimately, it's a slow death because if you stay there long enough, you'll just give back a lot and a lot and a lot of money. For example, at the beginning of the year of 2020, we were in a range or whipsaw market. Remember, we started going up a little bit, then all of a sudden went down that 2 weeks, then went back up. So this was a perfect example of a range or whipsaw market. Now, these are weekly bars, and so this only lasted a couple of months. But trust me, no one knows how long these can last. In fact, I remember I was on the floor in the late 70s, early 80s when I first started working with specialists as an assistant. And we went through a range whipsaw market for close to a year in a number of our stocks. And it was very difficult to trade. So you don't know how long they're going to last. You have to be able to navigate through those type of situations. So how can we do that? Well, here's the tool I'm going to be introducing to you in week number 1. You've heard me talk about it before. It's the PET-D. It's our translator. Okay, but I'm going to show you a different way to use it with range and whipsaw markets. It's a different format that we use for that. Now, let's look at this market right here. This is AEE coming into the year 2020. Obviously, we're in a range market. We're going up, back down, going up, back down. This is where traders lose money. Just when you think it's going up, you buy, and then all of a sudden it goes down, so you scare yourself, you get out. It goes back up, so you buy again. Then it doesn't work out, so you get out. This is a range market. It's very difficult to trade because you don't know how long you're going to be in there, and you just keep whittling away and having that slow death in trading. All right? How can our translator help us? Well, with our color bar tool, the PET-D. The PET-D is not going to tell us when the range market is over. The PET-D is not going to tell us how high something goes or how low something goes. It's not a predictive tool. It's just a translator that translates on a tick-by-tick basis what the market wants to do. Now, even though to us, the trader on the outside, it looks as if we're not doing anything, we're just kind of going sideways. Once we apply the PET-D, we just click it on our platform, we see that the majority or all the bars are green. So what is the translator telling us? Well, when you see the majority or all of the bars green, it's saying that we still may be in this little channel here, but for all intents and purposes, it's translating that it wants to go higher. So this can help you tremendously. This is a tremendous edge because therefore, if you get a strategy that generates a sell signal, you know you're not going to take it. Or if you're already long, you can have enough confidence to hold on. As long as the PET-D continues to color these bars green, you're okay, all right? You still feel confident. And as we see here, look what happened weeks later, okay? No one knew the stock was going to go up. In fact, we didn't even know. But the PET-D was translating that even though we're in this little channel here, it still was in an overall uptrend. Here's another example in UPS. This is a perfect display of a whipsaw market going up, back down, up, back down. This is where you really lose a lot of money. Once again, no one knows how long these conditions will last. Maybe a couple of bars, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of years. All right, I've seen it happen. I've been trading long enough to see those things in existence. So you have to either know how to deal with them or step aside. That's where the PET-D helps us. It's our translator, okay? Now, even though this looks like it's going nowhere, it's directionless, all we have to do in this whipsaw market is say, okay, we're in some kind of a range whipsaw market, but what's the translator saying? Click on the PET-D, and the colors are red. So what does that mean? Well, when the colors are green, the translator is saying that even though we're in a range, we want to go higher. But conversely, when the colors are red, it's saying, well, even though we're in a whipsaw range, I want to ultimately go lower. Unless I start to show the majority or consecutive bars green, it's translating it wants to go lower. So if you were looking at this and you got a buy signal with your current strategy, the odds are in your favor to not take it. They would be in your favor to go short and to use a selling strategy. Because look what happened, 16 points. So do you see how right off the bat, this edge can help us tremendously? Now remember, it's not a strategy. It's not telling you where to buy or where to sell. It's just an edge. It's a translator telling us what the market wants to do. But that can help us tremendously, really greatly during these first obstacles, range and whipsaw markets. Here's another example, total range market in NIO. Okay, this was just last month. Basically going sideways. Most traders would say, this market is directionless. It has no idea what it wants to do. But if you apply the translator, actually it does have an idea of what it wants to do. It wants to go higher. And until it changes colors to the majority of them being red, it's saying, I'm just kind of pausing right now. But if you're thinking of doing anything, it should be with a buyer's bias. And the stock went up 21 points, okay? Please remember though, this is not a strategy, does not initiate buy signals, does not initiate sell signals, just tells you and translates what the market wants to do on a tick-by-tick basis. Here's a weekly chart of Amazon. In a little, 1-2 month range there. This was in May coming into June. Really directionless. Every time it got to that top range, we'd kind of have trouble. This is where people say, well, that's support and resistance, Steve. That's where all the institutions are buying or selling. That can help you tremendously. I really don't know how that can help me. I'd rather get my help directly coming from the market, the translator. Okay? So let's add the translator. And it's telling me that it wants to go higher. I don't care if there's a ton of institutions selling there at the top. I don't care. I'm going to look at this from a buyer's perspective until, obviously, it changes its mind. I'm just going to be a buyer. And coming into September, Amazon went up 900 points. Remember, this is not a predictive tool. It's not a strategy. It's not a system. It's just a tremendous edge to have in your pocket that is translating what the market wants to do on a tick-by-tick basis. And this can help you tremendously with obstacle number one, which are range or whipsaw markets, because they will happen, regardless if they happen in the market, regardless if they happen in a particular stock, or regardless if they happen in a 5 or 10 minute time frame. If you're an intraday stock trader, you'll see them happen over and over again. And this tool can really help you with those. All right, let's go to obstacle number 2. Once again, let's look at our chart here of last year. And it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what year. Everyone always complains about missing those big moves, right? You always see a stock gapping up 20 or 30 points, and you say to yourself, gosh, that could have made my whole year, and I was actually interested in that stock. Or does the opposite. Some news comes out or something terrible happens in the world, and it just falls out of bed. In 1 week, it erases what it took maybe an entire year to make, okay? And you say, gosh, I was so unaware of this down move happening. I held on and I lost a lot of money. So you'll see this obstacle appear regardless if it was last year or the year before. It's a very, very big problem, missing big moves. But we have a way to help you here. All right, in 2020, remember, the beginning of the year, we're in that range whipsaw market. But just at the time you convinced yourself that we were going to break out and go higher, because obviously the market had continued to make new highs, all of a sudden this happened. The coronavirus came in and the market fell out of bed, right? If you didn't lose money then, you're one of the lucky ones, because the majority of traders were caught off guard by this. And here are the ways you could lose money in this big move to the downside. Either, like most traders, you were long and you continued to stay long, and you held on and you thought, you know what, this is not going to last, I'm going to buy more. So halfway down, you even doubled up. And then by the time you got to the middle of March, you said to yourself, boy, I can't afford to take this much losses. This looks like we're going into a depression. So you sold everything, most likely at the bottom, right? That's probably the main reason why people lost money at this time. Another way to do it was by, some of the times you miss making money is when you don't take the trade. Let's say you're a more advanced trader, you like to short the market or buy puts. You had no idea that this was going to be this powerful to the downside. You didn't believe it. So you kind of just stood there and watched it go by. And then after the month and all the tremendous moves, you said to yourself, wow, there was so much money to be made there. There were so many opportunities and I didn't take advantage of it. That's just as bad as taking a huge loss, because there was an opportunity to make a real lot of money, to have a really successful trade, and you ignored it because you didn't believe this was going to be that big of a move. So how can we help you there? Because this will happen over and over again, not just to the downside, it'll happen to the upside as well. Something will go straight up, you'll believe it's too overbought, you'll start selling into it, you'll sell more, and pretty soon you've given back all your money you made for the entire year, banking on that it was just too high. So it can happen with stocks, or the market goes straight up as well. Now we're going to introduce you to a great tool that is perfectly designed. In fact, it's designed specifically for announcing these big moves in advance. Here's a chart of JKS in September coming into October and November. All right, how could someone know that anything was about to take place here just looking at 3 daily bars? Well, that's the beauty of the PTS XT Extreme Trend. This is by far our most popular tool because of its simplicity, but because of its uncanny ability to announce when a big move is just about to happen, before it even happens. Whether it's based on news, whether it's based on some economic indicator, it makes no difference. It's able to spot this so easily many times, not guaranteed, but so many times. If you go to our Twitter page, you'll see tons of examples on a daily basis of the PTSXT in action. Now, looking at JKS, all right, let's say you're interested in this stock. Here's how this tool can help you. On our platform, all you would do is simply click on in the upper strategy and indicator tab here, PTSXT Extreme Trend. And what this trend does, or what this tool does, is it colors a block around a bar when it feels there's going to be a big move happening. Now, if it's a yellow color, it's announcing that there's an advanced move to the upside, just about to begin. If it's a red bar, it's an extreme move to the downside. So what do we have here? We have a yellow block around the bar. Now, if you're thinking about selling this, we would advise you or suggest to you not to do it, because there's a big chance that most likely this is going to go higher. This was in September, and look what the stock did coming into the middle of October. All right? Once again, this really is not a strategy. It's not a system. It's just an indicator designed to announce in advance when a most likely extreme move is about to happen. Now, a lot of these students we have like to trade this as if it were a strategy, and we teach you different ways in our courses, where you could simply just buy the very first colored bar and then wait till it goes out, and then once it exits, well, then you avoid trading and you exit your position. That's one way to do it, very simple way. But remember, it's not really meant to be traded as a strategy. It's meant to be signaling when a big move is about to happen. Remember, this is obstacle number 2. Either you're caught on the wrong side of these big moves, or you miss the big move entirely and say to yourself, how did I miss that? Okay? Here's another example. SABR. Let's say you're looking at this and you say, wow, you know, Steve, that guy in that chat room I went to, he loves this stock. And he says that this is really oversold. It's come down as a major support, and you got to buy it here. Look at it, closed at the very low. So I'm going to pick up some really cheap, inexpensive stock, because most likely it's going to take off next week when the earnings come out. Okay? You see how I made the decisions? Not off what the market's telling me, but off what some guy or some indicator, some guy in a chat room is telling me. All right? What is the market telling us? Well, first thing you do is click on PTSXT Extreme Trend tool. Remember, this is a proprietary tool that's based on a lot of proprietary indicators and their relationship to one another. When they all line up, you're either going to get this announcement of an extreme up move or an announcement of an extreme down move in advance. Now, what do we have here? Well, when you thought this was the bottom and that you should be buying it, the PTSXT is signaling that most likely a big down move is going to happen because it colored a block, a red block around this bar. So if you were thinking about buying, we would suggest you may want to stay on the sidelines and hold off for a bit, because it's not 100% guaranteed, but this is a good chance this is going to go lower. And as you can see, the stock fell out of bed 18 points, you know, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Here's another example. mRNA. All right, this is Moderna. This has been in the news lately. Remember, just on the 16th, which I believe was Monday of this week, they announced that they had a vaccine for the coronavirus with real high successful rate. Great news for the company. A lot of people bought it on that news when the stock gapped up. Okay, that was on the 16th when that came out, and I believe that was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday, looking at my calendar. Here's the beauty of our tools and our techniques. They don't rely on any news. They don't rely on any fundamental information. They simply have learned how to listen to the source. And the source is the market you're trading, the chart in front of you, because it tells you just about everything you need to know. For example, once you applied the PTSXT, this was on the 9th, okay? A week before that announcement came out. It painted a yellow block around Moderna. Okay, how did it know that it was going to have a vaccine? It didn't. We didn't know that. We don't follow any fundamental news at Specialist Trading. In fact, it's not required, but you know, I haven't looked at news in 43 years. So I just learned how to listen to the market. So the market, through the PTSXT, told me that most likely there's going to be a big move here to the upside. You could have bought on that bar or used any of your strategies, because remember, you should be now looking at this from a buyer's perspective and coming into the 16th where everyone bought at the high there, you could have already had a 25-point potential gain if you held on. This is what's going to really help you with those big moves that oftentimes you'll miss or you're caught on the wrong side of. Another example here in Tesla, all right? Tesla had a nice big move here in the summer, in July and August, and then it started to peter out and go sideways, even look lower coming into the middle of the summer, okay? How could the PTSXT have helped us? Only with the big move and kept us out of the sideways market. Well, you just simply add the tool, and you see here, based on that first block bar, potentially could have captured 130 points, all right? And once the price left that, you avoid trading. This is what a lot of our students do. They just simply trade with the PTSXT. They say, listen, when I get the yellow block, either I'm buying on that first yellow block bar or I'm just buying within the block bar using my strategy or some other techniques. And then once it leaves, I'm out of the market. I move on to another one, okay? And then all you have to do is simply wait for another yellow block bar. And we see here in the middle of August, another one occurred. So you could have gotten back in and potentially captured 170 points. This tool is specifically designed so that you wouldn't miss those big moves. But remember, once again, it's not a full-fledged strategy. It doesn't come complete with entry, exit, stop placement. We share with you different techniques and different ideas for doing that in our courses. But ultimately, this is just another tool to listen to the market, where the PET-D is designed to translate what the market wants to do no matter what, no matter the conditions on a tick-by-tick basis. The PTSXT is entirely different. It only alerts you when it spots the opportunity for an extreme up move or an extreme down move. Other than that, it stays out of the market. So they're entirely different tools altogether, but still tools that are just kind of showing you market behavior. All right, let's go to obstacle number 3. Now, the third most prominent obstacle that you find throughout the years and that most likely you'll find in 2021 that gives traders so much trouble. And what is that? It's the inability to identify momentum. Oftentimes, the market kind of lulls us to sleep. Nothing is happening. It looks kind of dead or kind of sideways. It's not necessarily a whipsaw range market, but it just doesn't look that exciting. You know, it's not what traders call sexy. It's not, inviting. So you stay away from it or you don't even get involved. But there are certain ways to find out if there's underlying momentum building up, almost like a volcano before it explodes. And if you could see the action going on within the volcano prior to that, you would know that there's going to be some big movements coming up slowly, but it just hasn't happened yet. We have to know how to spot this momentum before it does. So how can we do that? Remember, in 2020, after the big crash we had with the coronavirus, what happened with the market? It had a little bounce. But most likely you thought that's a dead cat bounce, all right? There's not a lot of momentum. There's not a lot of movement there. The volatility, the institutions are selling all the way up. And you know, that guy in the chat room told me that all the overbought, oversold oscillators are completely overbought, so I've got to sell this. And then look what happened for the remainder of the year. We've gone up to make new highs. So it's our inability to identify proper momentum. How can we do that? Well, by using a method, a strategy that I was taught some 4 decades ago and that I continue to use on a daily basis. This is what we're going to be teaching you in our course. This is strategy number 4. It has a real great ability, powerful ability to spot this momentum where no one else sees it at times. Remember we looked at NEO before where all the bars were green. So the PET-D was telling us we want to go higher. So all you have to do is, since you want to have a buyer's bias, apply strategy number 4 to see if there's any buy signals. Click on strategy 4, and there was, in that sideways movement, it was a buy signal. Stock went up a good 7-8 points. Now you could have exited there, and most traders say that was a nice little trade. Or maybe you said, I'm going to stay in the trade, okay? And you start to worry because it looks like you're running out of momentum again. But look what happened on the very next bar. Another strategy 4 signal was generated, and 21 points if you had stayed in from the very beginning. So this has the beauty of being able to have structure, complete buy rules, complete sell rules, complete stop placement, complete money management, and the ability to identify this momentum where no one else can see it. Here's another example. Remember we were looking at SABR, all right? The PET-D had colored these bars red. So obviously it wanted to go lower, but look what happened. We had a seller's bias, even though it looked like we were in a range, and we had 2 sell signals. So everyone may have thought this was building a base. You could have shorted this and potentially captured 19 points. Let's look at UPS, all right? Once again, if most traders were looking at this, would say, well, Steve, I mean, the stock's kind of going sideways. I don't want to get caught up in an expensive stock where I'm just going to be buying this and holding this for a month before anything happens. But look at the cluster of buy signals, all right? The PET D could have colored these green, and strategy 4 is saying this is where you get in. So now you have the best of both worlds. Stock went up 40 points. Here's another example. This is a weekly chart because we know not everyone just trades daily charts. A lot of students like to use our tools and techniques and strategies on longer time frames. Well, once again, look at this. Is there any sign that momentum is going to shift any way, either up or down? Not really. Kind of a boring, lackluster look here at a weekly chart. I mean, basically, for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, we've been going sideways. But if you applied strategy number 4, even though you thought this was a range market, strategy number 4 generated 2 buy signals. Now, I want to talk about consistency because most of our methods are highly consistent, but most people will think, well, consistent means that every trade's a winner. It all depends on how you like to trade. For example, had you taken this first buy signal and you were the type of trader that doesn't like a lot of risk, you may have placed your stop to get out if you're wrong somewhere right here at these lower levels and lost a good 10 or 12 points, okay? But that doesn't mean the strategy is faulty or the strategy doesn't work, because look what happened on the very next signal. If you lost 10 or 15 points, do you think you could have made it back in the next 5 weeks? This is what we mean by consistent. A consistent method is one that's able to recoup losses, sometimes on the very last trade. So strategy number 4 is extremely consistent, and it has the ability to identify these areas where momentum is really building up before anyone else sees it happen. All right, so let's recap what we're going to be sharing with you and teaching you in the Stock Trader Survival course. Remember, it's a 3-week course, and each week for 3 weeks, I'll teach you how to apply a proprietary tool, a strategy, or an indicator that I personally feel will give you the best chance for surviving the markets, any direction, any time frame. Now, these powerful edges will enable you to meet any trading challenge that may arise in 2021. Remember, all the things I'm going to be teaching you are going to be one click away. You have ease of access on our PTS Primo charting platform. Over 4 decades of information, tools, techniques, strategies, tips that I've accumulated that are all one click away for you to immediately apply to your trading. So let's go over the curriculum, okay? This is a 3-week live class that I'll be teaching to a limited amount of students. Week number 1, we'll cover the PET D directional tool. Now, this is the translator. This is what translates on a tick-by-tick basis and then colors the bars either green for an uptrend or red for a downtrend, okay? You can apply it to any market, any time frame, and there are just dozens of ways to apply this. It's probably our most versatile tool. But remember, this is not a strategy. It's just a tool for translating what the market wants to do. I'll show you dozens of ways to apply it. Week number 2, we'll go into our most popular tool, which is the pattern recognition of strategy number 4. This is our most popular strategy, I should say. Strategy number 4 was the first strategy I was taught by my mentors, and once again, I use it on a daily basis with my own personal trading. The beauty of this is that we give you all the different variables for entry, all the different variables for exits, and all the different variables for stop placement, so that you can manage it according to your own means. If you like to trade tons of different ways and like to have a lot of trades during the month, we'll show you ways to do that. If you only want to trade once or twice a month and want to trade rather conservatively, we'll show you how to do that. Because everyone gets the same basic format, whether you've been trading 20 minutes or 20 years. And then we work out from there to meet your needs. So in other words, an aggressive trader doesn't have to be trading the same way a conservative trader would be, and vice versa. You'll feel comfortable because the method will fit your trading persona. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the PTSXT Extreme Trend Indicator. This is our most popular indicator to date because this is the one that announces in advance those extreme big moves, okay? This is going to help you with those big moves, either catching them or getting out of the way, because those are the ways you can either make money or lose a lot of money. When those big moves happen the way they did in March, You lost a lot of money either being in the way and not believing in it, thinking it was going to stop and go back up, or by missing it altogether. You could have taken advantage. You think you would have done well buying some puts in March on the very first your red block bar. So this is how it can help you. This is our most popular indicator to date. But once again, the PET D is a tremendous edge that translates on a tick-by-tick basis what the market wants to do all the time. The extreme trend only indicates and announces in advance when it believes a strong upward move is supposed to happen or a strong extreme downward move. Other than that, it stays out of the market. And then lastly, strategy number 4 is your structure to apply when momentum seems not visible, but you're able to find it with this high-level proprietary strategy. Now we're going to also throw in an extra bonus here. We're going to throw in the PTS Primo charts as well, because we know you're going to need this to be able to learn and trade on your own, to be able to spot these signals and to learn exactly how to apply them. This is the educational platform that really teaches you how to trade. Now, there's so much more included with just having this. Obviously, you're going to get the PET D, the PTS XT indicator, along with strategy number 4. But you'll get our strength of trend tool as well. This is a tool that tells you if a trend is running out of steam or not. You also get our top bottom 25% tool. This is a tool that helps you determine the short-term trend based off a pattern. You'll also get personalized tech support. But let me talk about and share with you a couple of examples on 2 of the best things you're going to be available to use on our platform. That's the strategy signal scanner along with auto-generated exit levels, okay? Let's say you're a member of the 2021 survival trading course, okay? And you wanted to scan on a nightly basis. Here's how simple it is on our platform. Open up our platform, go to strategy number 4. In the drop-down menu, you see the scanner at the very bottom. Click on scanner, and you'll see the scanner page appear, all right? All you have to do is click on load symbols. Pick whatever symbol list you're interested in. If you want to be trading ETFs, if you want to only look at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, it's entirely up to you. Let's say we chose the S&P, or I should say the Dow Jones 30, okay? We click that on, just hit scan, and in about 30 seconds, you'll see a series of either red horizontal bars or green. The red ones mean that you have sell signals in the next day in strategy number 4. The green ones mean there's a buy signal. Now, we scanned a couple of weeks ago, and we saw a buy signal in KWR, okay? Quaker Chemical Corporation. On the 29th, coming into November, there was a buy signal. Okay, so you're saying, all right, there's a buy signal. It meets all the rules. You've studied the course. You've learned all about it. And you say to yourself, I'm going to take that. So you take the signal, and in about 3 days, you've got a nice little 10-point gain. Maybe you're thinking about exiting. Maybe you're saying, hey, you know, that's a nice little trade. But let's see how you can apply all the different things we're going to be teaching you. All you would have to do is click on the PTS XT Extreme Trend and see that very last day there on the 3rd of November, what do you have? You have a yellow block painted around KWR. So why would you want to sell if the PTS XT was telling you it's identifying a high probability extreme up move? So most likely you'd say, you know what? I think I'm going to stay in this trade. And look what happened. 80 points in the next 2 weeks. You see how these tools can really help you? That's why we call this the survival course. You've never had these before. Most likely you would have taken a little profit and gotten out and say, gosh, I missed that big move. Well, now with the PTS XT, you won't have to say that anymore. Here's another way to trade it, the information we're going to be giving you. All right, let's look at this market in TMO. This is a current example here going back to October coming into November. Once again, someone looking at this would say, well, wow, we're straight up, straight down. I mean, no real direction here, right? Well, not really true, because once you add the PET D, what's it telling you? What is it translating? It's saying that even though we've been going down for the last 3 or 4 days, it wants to go higher. So this may be a buying opportunity. So you scan that night and you see that there's a strategy number 4 buy signal on the 30th of October. So you say to yourself, wow, I think I'll buy this. The PET D is confirming that this is a good strategy signal to take. So you buy this. Now, here's one of the things we've added on our platform. In the course, we teach you upwards of 7 different ways to exit. One of those methods has been auto-defined on our platform. You can auto-generate the exit levels. All you have to do is click on strategy number 4 in the drop-down menu, click on exit levels, and you'll see 4 separate levels appear even before you enter the trade. So how do we use these? Well, if you're the type of trader that likes to get in and out quickly, you would exit at level 1 or 2. If you'd like to get as most bang for your buck, you'd exit at level 3 or 4. You have a nice risk-reward ratio there as well. We always suggest to our students, though, to exit at the 4th and final level because most likely the trend will change. So let's see what happens. Well, in 3 days, you could have made 35 points if you used exit level number 4, okay? This is an actual setup, an actual trade that occurred. You could have scanned for using our platform, using strategy number 4 and the PET D. Now, I know a lot of our students say, gosh, Steve, that was a great trade. I made 35 points. Maybe I bought the calls. Maybe I actually had the stock. But look at it. It's gone up even higher. Remember, we always suggest our students exit at the 4th and final level because most likely the trend changes after that. And how would you like to still be holding on long once the trend changed and now you're in the loss column? You see, we're trying to help you survive in 2021 by giving you all this different knowledge, these different tips and techniques so that you don't turn winning trades into losing ones. All these things I've accumulated in 4 decades to help you become a consistent trader. They're all going to be offered in the course so that you don't have to join those ranks of the people that have another terrible year. So stop making the same mistakes every year, over and over again. The 2021 Stock Trading Survival Course can help you become a more consistent trader in 2021, okay? There's just a ton of information and help in here, and will really help to take your trading to the next level. Okay, so here's how to become a student of mine in the 2021 Stock Trading Survival Course. Let's break it down. All right, you're going to get the PET D directional tool. Now, that usually costs $29.95 value, okay? This is a great offer we're going to have here. But you're going to also get the pattern recognition strategy number 4. That's close to a $700 value. And then in the 3rd week, you're going to get the PTSXT Extreme Trend Indicator, a $49.95 value. We're also going to throw in some extra bonuses. We're also going to throw in advanced money management lessons to help you how to manage your money and how to increase your risk reward along with different stock placement. Great information for money management. That's a $24.95 value. And then, as we said, you're going to get a full year of the PTS Primo charting platform. That's a nearly $1,200 value. You're getting all these things along with your course instruction with yours truly in live classes, in a 3-week live classes. Now, normally, if you purchased all this separately, it would cost you over $12,000, okay? Now, we realize if you had a difficult year, we're not about to offer something for $12,000 because we know most of you wouldn't be able to afford it. So we're going to discount this tremendously, okay? All of these things are discounted, all of the bonuses, all of the strategies, the techniques. We're only going to offer this for you. We're going to have you save $7,000. We're only offering it for $49.95, but that's a limited time only. That's a tremendous discount. And guess what? Even if you can't come up with $49.95, we're going to be able to apply payment plans. So if you want to come up with a small deposit, you can still be up and running, still be a student of mine in the live class, and taking advantage of all these great things to survive 2021. Remember, only $49.95. That's a savings of over $7,000. This is for a limited time only, though. Now, for more information, contact Pro Trader Strategies. I developed the course with them, and they are in charge of all the discounts, all the pricing, all the tech support. So if you have any questions concerning pricing, if you'd like to establish a payment plan, I would suggest calling them directly at 310-598-6677. There's absolutely no obligation. They would be more than happy to answer any question you have. Now, that link you see at the very bottom is the information page. You can also sign up on that. There's a live link that's been posted in the chat box. Excuse me. Now, I promised you I would answer any questions that you may have. If you have any questions, just go to your question and answer box and I'll type them in. I'll leave this information up here for you so you can copy down the number or contact Pro Trader Strategies. Let's see, is there anything here for futures day trading only? Well, everything, this is basically for stock traders, but if I can tell you, I mainly trade futures myself. I started out my career trading stocks. So that's where my foundation is with stock trading. And everything I learned was from stock trading. But guess what? Everything I learned, I also apply for futures trading. So I use this for futures trading as well. So if you're a futures trader, that's fine. You would just transpose it over into futures trading, okay? Someone was having trouble with the audio. Yeah, usually if you're having trouble, it's usually your own, you should say your internet connection, okay? Someone's asking, when is this course going to take place? Well, we're planning, since it's a 2021 survival guide, we'd like to have it either at the end of the year or the beginning in January. What we want to do is we want to keep the classes intimate. Someone's asking how long the classes are. The classes are a minimum of an hour every week, but the last time I taught a course months ago on a completely different topic, some of our classes went nearly 3 hours long. So it's up to the number of students we have, and it's also up to how people are learning, and we'll take our time in the class. So I would say the class length is anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. And when are the classes? The classes are usually held on the Friday of that week, but remember, that's flexible. If you'd like to have the class on a weekend, we can do that. If you'd like to have the class earlier in the week, we can do that as well. It's up to you and how many students we have and where the students are. We have students all around the world. We have European students. We also have students, that are in the United States. So we'll try to pick whatever time frame is best for everyone, okay? Yeah, someone's asking when the class is going to start. Most likely either the end of the year or probably the very beginning of the year. But remember, this great discount we're having for only $49.95 is really for a limited time. So, as we get closer, we may not have this great special. So I would take, if you're really serious about it, I would take advantage of this now. Remember, if you have questions about pricing, if you'd like to establish a payment plan, there's absolutely no obligation. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They would be more than happy to figure out something over the phone with you, and you can think about it. But we're going to be starting this very, very soon, okay? Somebody's asking, what is the shortest time frame these indicators work on? Well, it hasn't been studied. There's actually no specific numbers, but I've used these on 1 minute time frames. I'm sure you can use them on tick charts. I've used them on tick charts and on range bars. It really is up to you. Just know that the smallest time frame you go to, you'll have more difficulty with these whipsaw ranging markets, and you'll have more difficulty with noise. That's just common with any trading. Every trader knows that the smaller time frame you go to, the more noise you'll have. And the larger time frame, from weeks, months, or years, the less noise you'll have. That's just, just physics. But you can still apply them, okay? All these tools can be applied to any market at any time frame. But the course is going to be geared mainly towards stock trading, okay? Good questions, good questions. What time will the classes be? Well, usually the presentations are on a Friday, roughly around the same time, like 10 o'clock. This seems to be a good hour for people. We used to have them at different times. Sometimes we have them on the weekend, but people like to have them on a Friday, and that way they could study the information over the weekend. And also, someone's asking, will there be homework? Yes, there will be homework, because that's the only way I can tell if you're understanding the tools and techniques and the different applications. But it's not something we're going to be showing your name in class. It's just something that's for me to see if you're progressing now. What if we can't make the time? Well, remember, everything will be recorded. So if you can't make it, that's okay. Everything is recorded, and you'll get a link to the recording. You can watch at your own leisure, okay? Now, what we've done in the past is we like to keep the classes to a small, intimate number. We don't like to go past 20, because after that, it starts to get too many people, and there's just too many questions, and most of the time is not spent so much on learning. It's spent on answering a lot of questions from people and taking a lot of time. So we want to keep it to 20 or less. If we happen to get inundated with much more, we'll have 2 classes. Then we'll have 2 sets of courses, okay? That will start at different days or so, such as that. But we want to keep the classes intimate. We don't, we had started, when we first started doing our courses, we had upwards of 50 people in a course, I believe, one time. And it was just a little bit too many people, too many questions, and we were spending too much time on explaining things rather than really showing things and learning things, okay? Any more questions? Good questions. Someone is saying, how much deposit do I have to put down for a payment plan? Well, that's something you would contact with Pro Trader Strategies. They're the ones that are in charge of that. They're in charge of all the pricing and discounts. Like I said, I would suggest calling them at 310-598-6677. There's no obligation. They would be more than happy to take your order, and they'd be more than happy to answer any question. Okay, so it's totally up to you. However you would like to get more information, and then you can decide for yourself if you want to become a member of the course, okay? If you're interested strictly on futures trading, I would, once again, contact Pro Trader Strategies. They can help you more and more with that as well, okay? Good questions. Remember, this course is going to be starting the 2021 Stock Trader Survival Course either at the end of the year or the beginning of 2021, but in the very near future. So if you're really interested, take advantage of this limited time discount. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. And as we take one last look at my disclaimer right here, I hope you see how we really want to help you take your trading to the next level. If you've had a difficult 2020, if you suffered this past year, don't worry. There is a way to turn things around. And it's going to be in our survival course because we're going to be offering you the best of the best, okay? Take advantage of it. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. See how much it would take for it to establish a payment plan. And as we close up here, I just want to say thank you so much for attending. And I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the 2021 Stock Trading Survival Course. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.